For years, Tom Oar was the rugged face of mountain men, living off the land and capturing hearts with his old-school survival skills. Then, without warning, he vanished from the show, leaving fans stunned and full of questions. What really happened to this modern-day frontiersman? Was it health issues, a personal choice, or something far more mysterious? Behind the scenes, whispers and wild theories have swirled. Today, we uncover the truth about Tom's sudden exit. And trust us, the real story is even more surprising than the rumors. On the surface, Mountain Men might seem like just another reality TV show, but what it offered is something far more raw and real. This hit series from the History Channel pulls back the curtain on a world most of us only glimpse through stories. A world where everyday life is a test of willpower. Survival isn't just a metaphor, and comfort is measured in firewood, clean water, and a full pantry before winter sets in. The show transports viewers deep into America's wild frontiers, following those rare individuals who've turned their backs on modern life, choosing instead to build a life on their terms, off the grid, in the heart of unforgiving nature. Each episode isn't just a show, it's a window into a way of life most have forgotten. Viewers meet men who don't just live in the wilderness, they are shaped by it. Among them, three figures rise above the rest, not just for their survival skills, but for the sheer force of character they bring to the screen. Eustace Conway, Tom Oar, and Marty Maiorato. In the misty hills of North Carolina, Eustace Conway carves out a life that feels plucked straight from another century. Driven by a mission to keep ancient survival knowledge alive, Eustace doesn't just live off the land, he teaches others how to do the same. His daily grind is a mix of teaching, crafting, and managing the constant threats of weather and wild animals. Yet, his portrayal has stirred controversy, with some fans questioning just how authentic his scenes are. Far to the north, Marty Maiorato braves Alaska's bitter wilderness, a place where -40-degree days are just part of the routine. Marty is all grit, piloting his bush plane into isolated trapping grounds, cutting firewood in deep snow, and battling exhaustion in the kind of cold that steals your breath. For him, it's not about escaping modern life. It's about embracing a different kind of freedom. His quiet resilience and no-nonsense approach to danger earned him a devoted fan base that admired his strength and humility. But it's in the rugged landscape of Montana's Yak River Valley that viewers met a man who would become the soul of the series, Tom Oar. A retired rodeo cowboy with leathery hands, a kind smile, and eyes that seemed to have seen 1,000 winters. Tom became more than just a character. He became a symbol of enduring spirit. From handcrafting traditional animal hide garments to preparing year-round for a brutal 7-month winter, Tom's life was a living reflection of the old ways. No shortcuts, no drama, just pure, hard-earned survival. Together, these men represented something quietly radical, a return to simplicity, a life stripped of clutter, where each choice carried weight, and each mistake could cost more than just comfort. Mountain Men didn't just show danger, it revealed the beauty of being in sync with nature, of living by your own code, and of finding meaning in the everyday struggles that most of us never face. Still, among the entire cast, no story struck a deeper chord than that of Tom Oar. As the seasons rolled on, fans noticed subtle changes, longer silences, slower movements, and eventually, an absence that sparked countless questions. And that is where the mystery only deepens. What happened to Tom? What pushed this mountain legend into seclusion? Stay with us as we now come to the middle of his story, Tom and Nancy. But what was the secret they wordlessly kept in the cold of Montana's wilderness? The moment Tom met Nancy, a new chapter quietly began. One not just filled with adventure, but built on something deeper: love, trust, and an unshakable desire to live life on their terms. It was the late 1970s when the couple made a decision most would never dare to consider. They packed everything they owned into an old, weathered pickup truck. A truck, by the way, they paid for with muskrat pelts, and headed into the heart of Montana. No road map, No guarantees, just a shared dream of trading the noise of society for the silence of the wild. Their arrival in the Montana wilderness marked the beginning of a journey as demanding as it was breathtaking. The winters were brutal, temperatures plunged, food was sometimes scarce, and their bodies ached from the unrelenting cold. But Tom and Nancy didn't break. If anything, those hard days only deepened their bond and strengthened their resolve. They weren't just surviving out there. They were slowly becoming one with the land. Then came a turning point, one that would shape the rest of their lives. During a trip to Billings, Tom wandered into a small American Indian shop and stumbled upon something ancient, yet oddly familiar: the art of brain tanning. This age-old method of softening and preserving animal hides, using the very brains of the animals themselves, lit a fire in Tom. He studied it, practiced it, and before long, mastered it. That simple moment of discovery opened a new path, not just a way to make a living, but a deeper connection to the life they had chosen. Their skill in brain tanning soon brought them into contact with a wider community of off-the-grid artisans and wilderness enthusiasts, especially at the annual Black Powder Rendezvous. Here, Tom's talents truly shone. People weren't just impressed, they were inspired. Tom Oar wasn't just another man living in the woods. He was a craftsman, a teacher, and a living symbol of a fading but deeply respected tradition. But he never walked that path alone. Nancy, his wife and partner in every sense of the word, stood beside him through every snowfall, every hardship, and every quiet victory. She learned the harsh rhythms of wilderness life, trapping, hunting, surviving, just as fiercely as Tom did. Together, their story in the Yaak River Valley became more than a tale of self-reliance. It became a living testament to what it means to build a life with your hands, to turn isolation into home, and to do it all with the person you love. Tom and Nancy Oar never chose the easy road. Their days were marked by isolation, harsh winters, wild predators, and more than a few health scares. But through it all, they didn't just survive, they thrived, building a legacy rooted in grit, love, and a deep reverence for nature. Before he became the rugged star of mountain men, Tom was a thrill-chasing rodeo cowboy. Born in Rockford, Illinois, he was raised in the saddle and hit the rodeo circuit by 15. For over 2 decades, he dominated the arena, until a brutal encounter with a bull in 1970 cracked something deeper than bone. It gave him clarity. In 1981, Tom left the rodeo behind and embraced the wilds of Montana, forging a new life with his wife Nancy in the remote Yaak Valley. Their days were filled with purpose: hunting, trapping, tanning hides, and living by their own code. But time, the one force Tom couldn't outlast, came knocking. In Mountain Men Season 11, Tom suffered a frightening health scare: sudden, labored breathing that forced a harrowing 80-mile drive to a hospital. The diagnosis: heart failure. A lifetime of physical tolls had caught up to him. Still, with Nancy by his side and a heart monitor on his chest, Tom carried on. He may have slowed down, but he never gave up. Because Tom Oar never lived for comfort. He lived for truth, resilience, and the wild. After his heart failure diagnosis, Tom was advised to wear a defibrillator vest, a stark reminder that even the toughest men have limits. But what stood out most wasn't the illness, it was Nancy. As always, she met the moment with quiet strength, taking on more of the physical burden and guiding them through their new reality. Their rhythm changed, but their bond only deepened. The 80-mile trip to the clinic wasn't just for treatment, it was a turning point. Could they continue living this far from modern care? It was a hard truth they could no longer ignore. Still, Tom pressed on, showing that true survival isn't just about weathering the wild, it's about facing time and mortality with courage and love. Fame, too, brought its own challenges. As mountain men soared in popularity, the peace they'd built began to crack. Despite their remote location, fans started showing up, some traveling thousands of miles just to catch a glimpse. The solitude they once cherished was harder to find. And even Tom admitted that fame had become its own kind of intrusion. Tom never stopped appreciating his fans. Their admiration humbled him. But as summers passed, the stream of visitors grew constant and exhausting. Their quiet retreat became a destination, and the weight of age, illness, and attention began to close in. What was once a sanctuary now felt like a spotlight. When Mountain Men premiered in 2012, Tom wasn't just a survivalist. He became a symbol of a disappearing America. But as the seasons wore on and Tom aged into his 80s, fans grew anxious. His reduced screen time, especially after season 9, only fueled concern. Then came the false obituary in 2020. It looked real, convincing enough to spark widespread grief. Tributes poured in online. Rumors of his death spread like wildfire, intensified by his real-life health scare in season 11. Though Tom had survived, the combination of fact and fiction created a perfect storm. The story wouldn't die. Despite the noise, more trustworthy sources have confirmed Tom Oar is still alive. While his presence on Mountain Men has diminished, he remains very much a part of the real-world wilderness he so famously brought to life. Though he may be retired, or simply living quietly away from the spotlight, Tom's story isn't over, and in many ways, his absence from television is perfectly in character. For a man who built his life on solitude, privacy is not just preferred, it's sacred. Tom Oar has lived a life that most can only dream of, wild, authentic, and deeply rooted in the rhythms of nature. But even legends age, and in recent years, Tom has begun to reckon with a quiet, unavoidable question. What comes next? From the chaos of rodeo arenas to the peace of snow-covered valleys, Tom's life has been one of grit, adventure, and fierce independence. He's often said he was born 150 years too late, and it's hard to argue. Everything about him seems carved from a different time, but time, as it always does, catches up. And as both he and Nancy grow older, the physical demands of their lifestyle have grown heavier. What once felt invigorating now carries the weight of weariness. Tom's signature dark humor remains intact. He's joked that one day he'll be stretched out over the fleshing block. But underneath the laugh is acceptance. He isn't afraid of aging. He's just realistic. And when he mentioned possibly moving to Florida, it wasn't a sign of defeat. It was a gesture toward balance. Retirement to Tom doesn't mean giving up. It means adapting, finding peace not just in nature, but in rest. Still, the mere mention of retirement sent shockwaves through the fan base. With Tom stepping back from the show and fewer public appearances, rumors bloomed in the silence. Was he sick? Was he gone? The absence of any clear statement from Tom or the show's producers allowed speculation to flourish. When the false obituary resurfaced, it reignited panic and heartbreak. Even longtime fans weren't sure what to believe. Eventually, Tom did reappear on Mountain Men, quieting the worst fears. But his return only deepened the next question. Has he retired for good? Has he left the Montana wilderness behind in search of a softer pace? For years, Tom Oar has been the face of wilderness grit. But when doctors recommended he wear a defibrillator vest, it was a chilling reminder that even the toughest mountain men have limits. Yet what truly stood out in that moment wasn't the diagnosis. It was the quiet power of love. Nancy, always by Tom's side in both survival and life, stepped up in remarkable ways. She took on the physical load, managed their daily needs, and supported Tom as he adjusted to a new chapter. Their rhythm may have shifted, but their bond never wavered. To viewers who admired their rugged lifestyle, this was something even more powerful. A love tested not just by snowstorms and grizzlies, but by age and illness. Their trip to the clinic wasn't just about treatment. It was a confrontation with mortality. Could their life in the wild still sustain them as they grew older? The question hung heavy, even for seasoned survivalists. Tom didn't flinch. With Nancy's unwavering support, he kept going. Proof that real resilience isn't just about chopping wood or braving blizzards, but about facing the quiet erosion of time with dignity. But their challenges weren't only personal. With fame came a new kind of pressure. As mountain men gained popularity, their remote Montana home became a pilgrimage site. Tourists from around the world, some even on their honeymoon, trekked into the wilderness, hoping for a glimpse of the real-life mountain man. Their once private refuge became a revolving door of fans. Tom appreciated the admiration, but couldn't deny the toll. When you're juggling declining health with daily drop-ins, even paradise starts to feel crowded. Tom Oar joined Mountain Men in 2012 and quickly became a fan favorite, thanks to his deep knowledge of nature, calm presence, and backstory as a former rodeo cowboy turned off-grid legend. But as the seasons passed and Tom entered his late 70s, concern began to grow. Updates were scarce, appearances dwindled, and eventually, the rumor mill took over. In 2020, a fake obituary claimed Tom had died. It was disturbingly detailed, convincing enough to spread across social media like wildfire. Fans mourned, tributes poured in, but it was all false. The timing made things worse. Tom had been dealing with real health scares. On Mountain Men Season 11, he suffered severe breathing issues and was diagnosed with a weakening heart and fluid in his lungs. That episode left fans shaken and vulnerable to misinformation. Some less reliable media outlets ran with the fake obituary without verifying anything. Confusion turned into panic. In 2024, the rumor resurfaced again. Some reports claimed Tom had died peacefully in Florida at age 81, while others firmly stated he was alive and enjoying a quiet retirement. So what's the truth? Thankfully, more credible sources confirmed it. Tom Oar is still alive. Though he's stepped back from the spotlight, he's still very much part of the off-grid life he helped make famous. And like many who've lived so close to nature, he now values privacy over publicity. Tom Oar's life has been one of bold choices, from taming broncs in rodeo arenas to trapping in the snow-laced valleys of Montana. But now, as he and Nancy grow older, the big question looms: what comes after a life in the wild? Tom's not one to shy away from reality. He's joked about ending up stretched out over the fleshing block, but beneath the humor is acceptance. Retirement isn't giving up, it's adapting. For Tom, that might mean spending more time in Florida, where the winters are gentler and the pace slower, but he's conflicted. In a candid moment, he once asked, "What does it even mean to retire? Do you just sit there?" It's a question that cuts deep for someone who's spent a lifetime moving, building, doing. For now, the answer is no. Tom still returns to the wilderness, even as the seasons grow harder. In Season 11, fans saw him once again preparing for winter, this time wearing a heart monitor while working alongside longtime trapping partner Sean McAfee. Is the mountain wearing him down? Or is he just evolving with it? Tom and Nancy's bond to the Yaak River Valley runs deeper than any trail. For decades, they've braved its bitter winters, unpredictable weather, and isolation. But age brings questions. Can they keep going? Season 11 showed their resilience in full force. Even as rumors swirled and physical demands increased, the Oars pressed on, gathering supplies, patching up their cabin, preparing for cold. The wild is their home, and leaving it isn't just a move, it's an identity shift. And yet, Florida calls, not just for sunshine, but for relief. Their son Chad already lives there with his wife, Kim Burnett, running a horse training center in Ocala. It's a far cry from Montana's mountains, but it reflects the Oar family's versatility, resilient no matter the terrain. Back in Montana, their peaceful retreat has become harder to protect. Fame has brought fans to their door. While they're grateful, the couple has made it clear they didn't choose this life for celebrity. They chose it for freedom. Tom's legacy isn't just on screen. Alongside Nancy and his brother Jack, he runs the Willow Bend Trading Post, a small business showcasing their handcrafted knives, moccasins, and traditional leather goods. Their craftsmanship honors the past and fuels their present. With fans eager for authentic items, the business thrives, bringing in thousands per month. But it's not about the money. It's about preserving a dying art and passing down a way of life. Tom's net worth is estimated around $200,000, A modest sum by TV standards, but a rich reflection of a life lived on his own terms. Behind the scenes, Tom's story includes joy and heartbreak. His first wife, Janice Fraser, and their children, Keely and Chad, were once central to his life. When Keely passed away in 2015, it was a devastating loss. Tom grieved quietly but deeply. Meanwhile, Chad found his path in Florida, building a peaceful life rooted in animals and tradition. Jack Oar, Tom's quieter brother, has made over 20 appearances on Mountain Men, always offering calm, steady support. The brothers' bond adds depth to the show, reminding viewers that simplicity, tradition, and family still matter. So, is Tom Oar still alive? Yes, but more importantly, he's still living, adapting, evolving, and refusing to quit. Whether in the mountains of Montana or the warmth of Florida, Tom and Nancy continue to show us what resilience, love, and authenticity really look like. What do you think of Tom and Nancy's journey? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.